What's up, friends? I got a brand new video for you today, and today we're going to talk about the Ronin RS2, and this could be a long video, so I'm going to timestamp the chunks if you want to move to some other place in this video that matters most to you, like the best settings and how to get this gimbal set up properly. But basically, I need to set this video up. So I've been shooting with the DJI Ronin M for like 5 years, 2015, and the gimbal's been solid. It's been a workhorse. It's been reliable. It's super predictable. You can point it any direction. It's going to move the same speed every time, nothing weird. And that's why I've never really found a gimbal that could compare to it. They're other than the original Ronin, it's a little bit bigger and heavier. I just haven't seen anything worth using as my main workhorse gimbal, and it's been amazing. But the problem is when I started adding more weight to it, it starts having some issues. So it can handle 8 pounds, but there's no way I've ever maxed it out with 8 pounds. And I find that if you have a longer, heavier lens, it bobs in the front, no matter how much power you give the motor. It'll just start to vibrate and go crazy. So this gimbal's been great, but I shot a video a couple weeks ago and I noticed some of the footage had a little bit of this in it. And it's just so frustrating because the camera's balanced perfectly. I don't know why the gimbal can't handle it. And now I got the Komodo and I'm putting a little bit more weight on it there too. I just bit the bullet and got the RS2 because I see so many people using this gimbal with the Komodo. And here it is on the single-handled configuration, which I hate. I hate single-handled gimbals with this much weight because there's no way you're holding this much weight all day long on set. It's just not practical. I don't think that it actually even balances the camera as well as a dual-handle grip or even underslung, because you're kind of balancing all this weight on like a stick, basically. So Tilta makes a ring grip for it, so you can mount the gimbal actually in a ring, so you do have dual handles that way. They also have a dual handle attachment, which I don't really like the look of. The ring's way better because you can attach monitors and stuff to it. And I've been using the ring grip with the Ronin M. And I thought, what if I could mod the Ronin M grip to fit the RS2? So I did some research and I found a plate that would allow all of this stuff to happen. So yeah, let's get into that. I'm going to show you how I modded the RS2 to fit the Ronin M ring, because who knows when Tilta's ring grip's coming out. It's like $800 now. They bumped the price up, and I need something now, and I can make this basically identical to that. So I got the DJI Pro kit. This comes with everything, including the Raven Eye as well as the follow focus. Those are things I'm not going to be using in this setup, but I will use them on a single-handled setup. The case is really nice. Everything comes packed nice. I pulled out the base plate and looked at it, and I thought, this is way too small, and I can't put this much weight on this plate. Thankfully, SmallRig makes an extended base plate where you get 2 points of contact. So we got a 3/8 mount as well as a 1/4-20, and this is going to secure the camera way better. This next piece is incredible. I'm glad Tilta makes it. This is the Tilta power supply base. It allows you to power the gimbal through DTAP. It just clips in and it gives you tons of contact points. This is so you can actually use this on a car rig, but it's going to work perfect to mount this to the gimbal. So I found this plate on Cinemilled. I thought it was going to be perfect for what I need. It's got the Ronin dovetail on it. It's actually made for the Movi as well, and I thought that the holes would line up perfectly with it, but they actually don't. And I didn't really want to drill this out because it still wasn't going to line up perfectly, so I found an old cheese plate and I started moving things around, and I realized that a lot of the holes were going to line up using this. It was just kind of long, and I thought that maybe I could cut it off later, but you'll see why I didn't later on. Next, I got some 1/4-20 screws and I just popped them through, and then I mounted the plate through that, and then I also mounted one in the rear. The next thing I decided to do was switch the feet around because it's set for an underslung setup right now, and I want to run the RS2 in an upright position. Even though you can run it underslung, I just feel like it's not really 100% meant to live that way. So what I did was I swapped it around and put it in an upright position. So next thing I did was slide the plate into the dovetail on the ring grip, and I need to tighten these screws after I get it tightened down. And everything was locked in, so I was able to just drop the gimbal in. The next thing that's really nice is that this comes with a bracket that's going to hold the gimbal down to the base, and this is something that their advanced ring grip doesn't even have. So to me, this seems way more secure, and like I said, this is made for a car rig, so that's going to hold it in nice and tight. So this gimbal needs to be powered by V-mount now, so I got a really light carbon fiber V-mount plate that's actually made for the Ronin, so it's got the perfect brackets to clip right onto the rod. So for whatever reason, DJI didn't add any 12 volt power, only USB-C. So I'm going to be adding a DTAP hub to the front of this, and this is why I didn't cut the cheese plate, because it's a perfect place to mount a DTAP hub. And this is nice because I'm able to actually power the gimbal as well as the camera off that same hub. So I'm not going to run through how to balance a gimbal because I've made videos on that in the past, but I basically just hooked everything up as well as the cables and got everything balanced up nice. So Tilta makes this really nice clip-in bracket adapter that can go under the gimbal, and I'm going to be putting a power bank under it, which is actually going to power the Nucleus M motor for my follow focus. Now I added an extra small weight to the end of my base plate because I found that I actually could slide the camera ahead a little bit more when I had that weight on there, and this way I was able to get the cables to have a little bit more clearance from the back motor. So I powered it up and everything seemed to be working great, so I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite settings that I have for this gimbal. So click on calibrate top left and then turn on super smooth, and it's going to auto calibrate to super smooth. So these are the settings that I determined with the auto settings, but we're going to change this up a bit. I also have the follow speed set to 15 here, but you can actually customize that in the app later. So right here I was just testing the gimbal to see if any of the motors were going to shake in any of the angles that I held it at, and it seemed to be pretty smooth, but I did notice that there was a little bit of jiggle when I set it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the app here and show you some of the best settings that you can use to get this thing to be a lot smoother. So you're going to want to go to motor parameters, and this is going to give you all the options that you can change the power and strength on your motors, but we want to deal with the stiffness because this is where it's actually kind of wobbly and jiggly. You can see I'm pushing down here that it's wobbling, and I made some adjustments. If you want to screen cap this is actually what I'm using on this gimbal. So once you get the motor set, then we need to go and dial in the smoothness and speed at which this gimbal moves. And you're gonna go to your user profile, and I'm just choosing M1 here, and I'm going down to custom, and then I'm gonna adjust my pan, tilt, and roll. We're not gonna be dealing with roll because we're just doing pan and tilt follow mode right now. But I found that pan 13, tilt around 15, and roll just off because we're not using it is a really nice setting. Then go to deadband, and I've got pan set to 2, tilt set to 3, and again rolls off because I'm not using that roll motor. Basically what deadband does is just kind of rejects all your little micro movements, and that's what smooths things out. All right, so I finally got this thing all modded up. I need to tweak it, I need to test it out on something, but I don't really have any big projects lined up. But my buddy Francis was doing a photo shoot and asked if I wanted to do some behind the scenes on it. And I was like, sure, why not? I'll test this out. It'll be the perfect place to test it out. And then he was like, yeah, we need to be up at 4:30 a.m. for sunrise. And I was like, ugh. But it was worth it. You'll see why. The colors in the sky, everything looks so nice. Let's check that out. Anyway, that's it for this video. It's not really a review, it's a very unconventional video. I used to make videos like this in the past, upgrading computers and stuff, so this is kind of the same thing, modding a gimbal. I don't think this is for everyone. I don't think anyone should probably do this unless you really want to try. It wasn't cheap. I probably spent $400 to do it, but the nice thing is I have a more stable gimbal setup, I think, than what the Tilta one will be like, because there's no mount that holds the gimbal to the actual stand. It just clips in like the regular hand grip, and that makes me a little nervous when you get a bit of weight on it, but I think this thing's gonna hold up well. The gimbal holds the weight no problem, way better than the Ronin M. It doesn't freak out when you put some extra torque on it, and I need to tweak a few more things, but I think it's looking pretty good. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down twice. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next one. What did I talk about? Frankensteining some gimbals together.
It's like ultra wide, so you see my hands in front and everything. Yeah.
Don't excuse me.
It's like a camera guy's video game scene. I'm gonna start from the water and pan up. All right, here we go.
amazing.